Students, in the last few lectures, we have completed moment of inertia of the object. How to calculate moment of inertia we have learned, and we also have discussed parallel axis theorem and perpendicular axis theorem. In this video session, I'll introduce the basic definitions of rotation, which are angular momentum and as well as torque. So what is mean by torque and what is mean by angular momentum, we are going to learn in today's video session. Now, let us consider an object of mass capital M. This has object of mass M, and of, of course this object do have very small particles. So it will have some particles which are present within it. So let me consider these are the particles. These are the particles of this rod, and this rod is being fixed at this position. So it is, we generally call it as pivoted. It is pivoted at this point. The rod is being pivoted at this position. Now, when the rod is being pivoted at that point, you can move this rod by applying a force at a different positions. I'll apply force at different positions. Now, let me consider if I am applying force at this point at which exactly it is being pivoted. This force is being acted at the point where it is being fixed. Can you observe any motion? If you observe this, when you are acting force at this point where it is being fixed, you could not see any motion. So it is that when you are acting force at this point, the displacement of rod is equal to 0. Displacement of the rod is 0. Now I'll change the position of the force. So at this point there is no displacement. Now I'll apply same force at this position. I'll apply same force at this position. If I apply same force at this position, the particle which is at this point would be displaced like this. This is the position where it would have come when it is being displaced. You can apply force at this point such that this position is at some perpendicular distance. The position of the force is at some perpendicular distance from the fixed axis. Okay. Likewise, you can apply force at this position. You can apply force at this position. And at each position you are acting a force. You could see that the position of the particles are being displaced in this way. The position of this particle is being displaced by some distance. Say it has some radius of curvature. Say this is R1. And this particle which is at this position, say it has been having radius of curvature R2. R1 and R2 are the radius of curvature of the positions of the particle. Now let me consider that this is angle swept. Total angle swept over here is this. So what's your observation from this? What are the observations from the activity which I am doing here? So first thing is that when your force is acting at the axis where mass is being fixed, at that position, if you are acting force, there is neither translational motion nor rotational motion for the object. The object being in rest, it's not at all moving. And if you are acting force other than fixed point, if you are applying a force which is at some perpendicular distance from the axis of fixed position, the body is said to have pure rotational motion The body is undergoing rotation. When the body is undergoing rotation, the angle swept by all the particles are same. Angle swept by all particles of rotating body is same. This angle, see everywhere it is angle theta. The angle swept is same, it is angle theta. Now that means angle swept is the same. Therefore, you can consider, you can write linear speed is equal to V, which is equal to R cross omega, where omega is angular speed of the particle, omega is d theta by dt. So linear speed of this particle, it may be, this is linear speed of the particle and this is linear speed of the particle. So everywhere, like it will have some length travel, that length traveled by time taken gives you speed. Speed v is equal to r omega, which we already have discussed in circular motion. Now velocity of the particle, velocity of particle at each position is undergoing changed with respect to time. Therefore, when you are acting force upon this object, it is easier to rotate the object when you are placing force exactly at this point where it is large distance from fixed axis. So let me consider this is F1, this is F1 dash, and this is F2 dash, and this is R1. Let me consider this perpendicular distance is R2, and let me consider this perpendicular distance is R3. Clearly, you can observe that even though the force acting is the same, like it can be of same magnitude, you can take same magnitude of force, all forces which are acting over here, it is same magnitude of force. Even though their magnitude is the same, but the position where they are acting are different. Therefore, rotation of the body depends upon the position where you are acting force. Rotation of body not only depends on force applied, it also depends on r perpendicular from axis. Therefore, in order to rotate a body, you need to apply a force which is at some perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. Therefore, r perpendicular, which is perpendicular distance where force is acting, cross product of force F, R bar cross F bar. That means you are acting a force upon an object which is at perpendicular distance from the axis. If you are just acting force at the axis, it's not moving, it is not rotated. But when you are acting the same force at some perpendicular distance from the fixed axis, then only body is undergoing rotating. Therefore, in order to rotate your body, you should apply a force which is at some perpendicular distance from the point where it is being fixed. And that gives us a new definition, new physical quantity, which is the cross product of perpendicular distance and force, which is called torque. And torque is R perpendicular cross F. R is perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. F is force where you are acting this force upon the object. Now unit of torque is R perpendicular distance is meter, force is Newton. So Newton meter is the unit of force, and torque is vector quantity. Torque is a vector quantity. It is perpendicular to R bar and F bar. The torque which is acting on this rotating body is perpendicular to perpendicular distance and as well as F. So here, as we have seen in the cross product, when two vectors are multiplied by cross product, the resultant vector is perpendicular to both the vectors. Here perpendicular distance is along x-axis, force acting is along y-axis, then torque acting on this rotating body is along z-axis. You can observe that clearly. This distance, this is along x-axis, r perpendicular is along x-axis, and the force is along y-axis. Force is acting along y-axis. So x, y, these two are perpendicular to each other. R bar and F bar both are perpendicular to each other. Then torque will be acting along z-axis because torque should be always perpendicular to R bar and as well as F bar. Just like how in translational motion force brings displacement of the body, in the same way in rotational motion torque brings rotation for the object. Therefore torque is analogous to force acting in translatory motion. Yeah. Students, the same rod which I am considering here, if I O is the axis of rotation, O is fixed point. I can apply force now at position A and also position B. Now, if at all I am acting a force at position A and as well as position B, the force magnitude is the same. I am taking same force. Now, when you are acting force at position A and position B, as clearly from the figure you can see that ROB magnitude is greater than ROA. The perpendicular distance from the axis at position B is greater than position A. Therefore, torque at A is equal to ROA bar cross F bar. Okay, this is equal to ROA into F into sine 90, because the angle between these two, force and perpendicular distance, is 90 degrees. Sine 90 will be however equal to 1, and this is n cap. N cap is perpendicular to R bar and as well as F bar. Likewise, torque at B is equal to ROB bar cross F bar, which is equal to ROB into F into sine 90 into n cap. The direction of both the torque which are acting here is the same. Therefore, clearly you can mention R perpendicular ROB is greater than ROA. Therefore, torque acting at B is greater than torque acting at A. Therefore, in order to rotate a body effectively and efficiently, you need to apply a force which is at greater perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. That is the reason why when the hinges are provided for the door, hinges are being provided for the door to open the door and to close the door at the corner from the fixed axis. So if you are considering a door, like usually this is the door, and here you will be provided with a hinge, and this is the axis of rotation. Okay, and this hinge is provided which is at perpendicular distance r perpendicular, because when you are acting force at this point, if you are acting force at this point, torque is greater. Torque is greater. That's the reason why this is called hinge. Handle. The hinges are provided at the corners of the door in order to provide more rotational effect. Therefore, in order to increase the torque, always you will be placing, or you will be acting a force which is at greater perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. And remember that force produce acceleration in a body, and F is equal to ma, F is equal to dp divided by dt. Likewise, in rotational motion, torque produce rotation of object. Due to torque, the body will be rotated. As a result, torque tau will be equal to moment of inertia I into alpha, since mass is analogous to moment of inertia in rotational motion and linear acceleration is analogous to angular acceleration in rotational motion. Momentum is analogous to angular momentum in rotational motion. So you can write torque tau is equal to dl bar divided by dt. These are the equations for torque, right? So just like how a body which is in translational motion, how force brings acceleration and change in momentum of a linear motion, linearly moving body. In the same way, the torque will produce acceleration, that too rotational acceleration. The torque will rotate a body in particular axis. Therefore, torque is analogous to force in translatory motion. And remember that torque is a vector quantity. Unit of torque is Newton meter. Students, observe carefully. Now let us find out relation between torque and angular momentum. So what is the relation between torque and angular momentum? We shall discuss now. See, when you are acting a force on an object, this is force acting on the object. Yeah. When you are acting force on the object, obviously its initial velocity is u. It will come to new position. Final velocity will become v. There is change in the momentum. Delta p is equal to m into delta v. Final velocity minus initial velocity. Force will produce change in momentum of the body. Delta p divided by delta v. Therefore, there is some displacement observed here. That is pure translatory motion. This is pure translatory motion. Now coming to rotational motion, you can act a force at any particular distance. Like let me consider this is perpendicular distance. You are acting force and this is r perpendicular. From here to here it is r perpendicular. You are acting a force which is at some perpendicular distance from the axis. This is axis. Axis I am denoting it with O, and this position is A. You are acting force A such that it is perpendicular, theta is equal to 90 degrees. What would happen now? This object would undergo rotational motion and the particle which is coming over here, this is how the particle is being rotated. It rotates by an angle theta dash. It is being rotated by some angle theta dash. Now, if you observe carefully, the direction of velocity of the particle initially is this, and the direction of velocity of the particle finally is this. Its initial velocity is u, its final velocity is v. What's your observation? Clearly, you can observe that even though magnitude of the particle may remain same, the direction of velocity will undergo change. The direction is undergoing change. Therefore, you can simply write there is some change in momentum of the particle. So change in momentum of particle is different for different positions. It is different from different positions from axis of rotation. At a different axis of rotation, we will have different momentum. Is it not? Because we have torque acting on the object is different. Torque produced at different positions is different. That's the reason why the momentum which is being seen in this case, for every particle it will be different. Therefore, I can define a new physical quantity called angular momentum. Angular momentum is denoted with L bar. Angular momentum L bar is equal to R perpendicular bar cross P bar, where P is linear momentum, R is perpendicular distance where the momentum of the particle is being undergoing change. And unit of angular momentum is kg meter square per second. This is unit of angular momentum and it is kg meter square per second, or even you can write L bar is equal to R perpendicular into P bar into sine 90 into n cap. Okay, but what is P? P is equal to mv. Therefore, you can write L bar is equal to R into mv. Sine 90 will be equal to 1, and this is unit vector n cap. So L magnitude can be written as mvr. This is equation for angular momentum of the particle. This is equation for magnitude of angular momentum of the particle. Now, we already know that L bar is equal to R bar cross P bar. You can just differentiate this with respect to time. So it can be written as dL bar divided by dt is equal to R bar cross dP bar divided by dt. Just I am differentiating this. However, perpendicular distance will be remained same. Perpendicular distance is a constant value where you are acting force and where the momentum is undergoing change. What do you write for dl by dt? Dl by dt, it is dl bar divided by dt. If I maintain it as it is into what is dp by dt? Dp by dt is nothing but force F. Therefore, I can write it as F bar. What is R bar cross F? R bar cross F is equal to as R bar cross F bar is equal to torque. You can write torque tau is equal to dl bar divided by dt. This is relation between torque and angular momentum. And if tau net is equal to 0, if tau net is equal to 0, dl bar divided by dt is equal to 0 and L bar is equal to constant. And L bar which is equal to constant, it means that angular momentum of the particle for a rotating body will be maintained constant. It is said to be law of conservation of angular momentum. Students, we know that F is equal to dP by dt. F external is equal to 0. It means dP by dt is equal to 0. dP by dt is equal to 0. It means that P is equal to constant. That is law of conservation of momentum. Law of conservation of linear momentum. So remember that when net external force is equal to 0, the linear momentum of the object will be conserved and the body is in translational equilibrium. So remember that for law of conservation of linear momentum and body to be in linear equilibrium. Linear equilibrium, F external should be equal to 0. So when F external force is equal to 0, the body is said to be in translational equilibrium. This is what we already know. Now let us relate. Likewise, we will relate torque and angular momentum. Instead of F, you need to write it as torque tau, which is equal to dl bar divided by dt. Just now we have derived this. If net torque is equal to 0, it means that dl bar divided by dt is equal to 0. dl bar by dt is equal to 0. It means that L bar is equal to constant. L bar is equal to constant mean rotating body is possessing law of conservation of angular momentum. Law of conservation of angular momentum. So remember that when tau external is equal to 0, P is equal to, sorry, not P, it is L. L is equal to constant and the body is said to be in rotational equilibrium. Body is said to be in rotational equilibrium. So therefore, remember that for body to be in rotational equilibrium, as tau external is equal to 0, it means that R perpendicular cross F bar is equal to 0. It means that F external is equal to 0. Therefore, for rotational equilibrium, remember that F net should be equal to 0 and tau net should be equal to 0. These are the conditions for the body to be in rotational equilibrium. So F net is equal to 0, obviously body will be in translational equilibrium. Tau net is equal to 0, it means that R perpendicular can be equal to 0 or F external can be equal to 0. In such cases, body will be said to be in rotational equilibrium. For a body which is in rotational equilibrium, angular momentum is conserved. Total angular momentum before rotation is equal to total angular momentum after rotation. You can use that law of conservation of angular momentum and we can solve basic model problems in rotational motion. Yeah, students, there is a particle of mass m. This is particle of mass m and it is released in the vertical plane from x is equal to x naught, which is on the x-axis. On the x-axis, from this point O at a distance x naught, you are leaving this object. As a result, it is falling down vertically in y plane. You need to now calculate torque acting on the particle at a time t about the origin. You want to find out torque acting on the particle about the origin. Actually, when you are leaving an object at one particular point, because of gravitational force, it falls down. If there is gravitational force acting on that particle, it would fall down. And it is clearly mentioned gravitational force is mg, which is acting downward. Because of that gravitational force, the particle is falling down and it have reached this position. Time taken is t second. In time t second, the particle have reached from point P to point Q. Right? Let particle have reached position Q in time t second. Now at position P, mg will be in downward direction, and at position Q also mg will be in downward direction. Now R bar and mg bar both are inclined by some angle theta, which is not exactly perpendicular. So R bar and P bar, they are not making an angle 90 degrees here. This is R bar, right? This is R bar. mg bar is in this direction. Okay. So in order to handle with this kind of situation, what I do, this is O. Let me take this position as O and this position as Q. And at this point, there is gravitational force which is acting in downward direction. This is gravitational force acting in downward direction, mg. Now, it is mentioned this angle is theta, and obviously this angle would also become theta. Okay. Now, the angle between R bar, this is R bar, and mg bar, it is theta dash. Okay. Theta dash is greater than 90 degrees. As theta dash is greater than 90 degrees, you can calculate torque tau is equal to R perpendicular bar cross F bar, which is equal to R perpendicular cross F is equal to mg. Mg is force which is acting in downward direction. But what's angle here? Angle is theta dash. So I can take this as torque, which is R magnitude into mg into sine theta dash greater than 90 degrees. And this is n cap, and this torque acting is perpendicular to both R bar and mg bar. This is one way. You can first find out the angle between R bar and F bar. That angle you need to substitute here. This is one way. Or the other way which I do is, already it is mentioned angle theta over there. What I do, I will resolve this vector into components. Okay, this mg I can resolve it into components. One component perpendicular to R bar and the other component in this direction. Okay. Now what is this angle? This angle is theta, so I can write it as mg into cos theta. And what about this? It is mg into sin theta. Okay. So mg sin theta is a component which is perpendicular to R bar, as mg sin theta is component of force perpendicular to R bar. We can write torque tau is equal to R bar cross mg sin theta. R bar cross mg sin theta. Okay. Now R bar and mg sin theta both are inclined by an angle of 90 degrees, right? Therefore, you can write tau is equal to R magnitude into mg sin theta magnitude into sin 90 degrees. Since R bar and mg sin theta are at 90 degrees to each other. So instead of writing it in terms of theta dash, already the value theta is being given to you in the question. So you need to resolve this mg force into two components, and in order to calculate torque, you will just take the perpendicular component to R bar, which gives you tau is equal to R bar into mg into sin theta. Sin 90 will be, however, equal to 1. As this is equal to 1, what is net torque acting over there? It is R mg sin theta. Actual angle between R bar and F bar acting over here is theta dash. But we have resolved that mg into two components. Only perpendicular component we are considering for torque, mg cos theta, which is parallel component to r bar, does not provide any torque. Therefore, mg cos theta is going waste. We will not consider that. Mg sin theta, which is perpendicular component to r bar, should be taken into consideration when you are calculating torque.